Hello, NAAOP members and friends. This is Peter Thomas. I'm the General Counsel for the National Association for the Advancement of Orthotics and Prosthetics. And this is the 12th webinar that we are putting on, a webcast we like to call them, and hope you're enjoying them. This week's broadcast is about the Injured and Amputee Veterans Bill of Rights, or House Resolution 805. This is not the first time that I've spoken about the Bill of Rights, but it is, I think it's time for an update and a status check on where this legislation stands. Just this week, George Brees, Executive Director of NAAOP, and one of our key board members, John Register, who's not only a veteran but an amputee himself and uses an artificial limb, came to Washington along with Tom Guth, the former president of NAAOP, and made the rounds to some Veterans Affairs Committee staff and talked through this legislation, both the Republican and the Democratic side. I think support is building for the legislation, especially in the House of Representatives, where the bill is formally introduced and has been introduced in the last two Congresses. In fact, this legislation passed the House of Representatives in December of 2010. But with only 11 days left to the 111th Congress, the Senate was not able to pass the legislation as well. And so the bill technically died, and it was reintroduced in the 112th Congress by ranking member Bob Filner. He's a congressman from San Diego. He's been the champion of this bill. We are getting some interest in this legislation from the Republican side of the aisle as well, and we're moving forward to try to build as much bipartisan support as we can. In the Senate, we're looking to try to see who might be interested in introducing this bill as well. And we're looking again on a bipartisan basis for doing so. But please, go to the NAAOP website at NAAOP.com, click on the Legislative Action Center, and send a message to your congressman or senator today, encouraging them to co-sponsor this legislation. It's very important that we show that there's strong support for this bill. What does this bill do? The bill essentially is really forms the basis of an education for veterans with orthotic and prosthetic needs. It would require the VA to post a list of quote-unquote rights that veterans have to the most appropriate technology available, to the practitioner of their choice, whether or not that practitioner is a VA practitioner, and to generally access the O&P care that they need. And all this does is educate veterans and allows veterans to advocate for themselves. We're hopeful that there'll be movement, whether the VA takes this on their own or whether the Congress goes forward with passing this legislation, and we hope that you can lend your support to trying to make that happen. You know, the other thing that occurred recently was issuance of a report by the Office of Inspector General by the Veterans Administration. It was entitled Audit of the Management and Acquisition of Prosthetic Limbs, and it was announced on May 8th, 2012, if you want to Google it. The report offers some interesting observations and some analysis that, frankly, the NAAOP and the whole O&P field needs to question. They come up with some conclusions that I think are suspect, and in fact we've talked with them with the VA committee that asked for these reports from the VA just this week, and we've been invited to submit questions and to provide information to the committee prior to them holding a hearing to review these reports and to ask any questions that they have of the Veterans Administration as well. That hearing will be coming up in the near future, and we look forward to the outcome of that hearing itself and to building the case for passage of this Injured and Amputee Veterans Bill of Rights. So thanks so much for your support, and we look forward to the 13th edition of our webcast. Thank you.